Welcome to Ball and Chain Podcast. This is episode... Oh, I forgot to change the thing. Man, it's episode 112.
212.
212. God, I can't read. I can't write. I can't do arithmetic. There we go. 212. I'm Max Mornigan. This is It's My Angel. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Anything going on in the world of photography right this very second?
Sorry, just invoicing and printing and editing, and yeah, it's October. October's really busy photography month. Everybody wants their pictures with pretty leaves.
All right, and it's right before the holidays and
The start of the school year, so the seniors are coming out and getting their senior photos done. I think a lot of them had to have their photos into the yearbook committee by like the first or second week of November. So, yeah.
Yeah, busy.
Very.
That's a good problem to have.
I wouldn't trade it.
You wouldn't trade it? We gotta scoot closer. We did not frame ourselves very well. Ugh! There we go. How about that? That's better. There we go. Man, I look like a slob. I got a white t-shirt on. I don't know. Sawyer had peanut butter sandwich for dinner, and he got peanut butter on my Comcast jacket, so I couldn't wear that. It looked gross. Anyway, all right. So this episode, we're gonna talk. We've got a couple things to talk about. First, we're gonna give our first impressions on the new South Park game. South Park, The Fractured But Whole.
Oh my.
I'm gonna try and talk Angel into playing Fortnite. That's the second segment.
Easier said than done.
Well, right, but I'm going to try and talk you into playing it, making time to play it, and then we were going to close out the show with a whole bunch of spoilers about The Walking Dead. So,
Yay.
if you haven't seen The Walking Dead, we'll give you a heads up beforehand. That way, we don't spoil it for you, because I don't want to censor our podcast because of spoilers. So it's been 4 days since the episode aired. Like, this was on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 4 days.
Monday, Tuesday. Well, right. Today's the 4th.
Today is the 4th day. So, but before we get into all that, I want to thank everybody for watching on Twitch at twitch.tv/72DPI online. And then also the people who are watching on our Facebook live feed. We really appreciate you guys watching the live show.
Just FYI, our camera keeps focusing. I don't know why.
Oh, well, I can fix.
Just an FYI. It looks like it's trying to refocus us.
It's because I'm moving around so much. Oh, God. It disappeared. Oh, God.
Technical issues.
Oh, my
Sorry.
God. Work. This is not good. It's broken. That's not what well, maybe that's what I wanted.
I mean, it's okay, but people are just going to go cross-eyed trying to focus us. Every so often.
Autofocus off. Now we're kind of blurry. Ooh.
Oh, gosh. Don't make people sick.
There we go. How's that? That's better. It's a little bit better. All right. We'll fix that later. So, yeah, I want to thank everybody for watching on the Twitch stream and on the Facebook stream as well. Do us a big favor. Head over to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/72DPI online. We upload everything to that page once we get finished with it. So this podcast will go up there. We have a Mana Drain podcast, which is all about Magic the Gathering, that my son and I, well, he's kind of taken over the co-host role since Magic Vice's schedule is kind of opposite the normal human being schedule.
And he loves it. It's adorable. He loves it.
Right, and he loves it. So much so that I think we're going to start... I want to start a show with him about teaching Magic. I think we're going to actually call it Teaching Magic, where it's just about we just record ourselves playing the game and learn it, and basically teaching the audience how to play Magic the Gathering while teaching him how to play. Now, he's got a beginner's understanding of the game, so I'm thinking it'll be a good starting point for him. Just trying to keep his attention on a live show for more than 22 minutes is very difficult, because once you hit that 22-minute mark, it's like, I'm done. I start spinning my chair. I'm starting to stand up. I dread the fact going to like 30 minutes. He's probably going to start taking off clothes and stuff like that.
Oh gosh.
Like, it's to that point.
He's 7.
He's 7. So yeah, that's way down the line. I'm gonna try to figure the logistics out for that. But that'll be a pre-recorded show, and we'll air it like a regular television show. So we'll see. But yeah, head over to the YouTube channel. It has all of our fun stuff on there. Get subscribed. We have 11 subscribers now. We've hit the double-digit mark and then some. So you could be number 12.
Yay.
So, our Twitter channel, Twitter feed. There it is, Twitter feed at BC Podcast on Twitter. So if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can. We post things on there frequently and have some fun.
I still don't understand the purpose of Twitter.
It's a good way to communicate with people that you don't have their phone numbers for. Like, I was having a conversation, a political conversation with someone that another podcast host that I actually listened to for many, many years, who lives in Los Angeles, that I would never be able to talk to or communicate with whatsoever.
What about Facebook?
Nope.
Why not?
Because I would have to friend him and he would have to friend me. So we'd have to communicate via Facebook that way, right?
So you had to follow him on Twitter. Isn't that the same as friending on Facebook?
You don't have to follow people on Twitter to communicate.
You don't have to follow them, friend them on Facebook either.
Oh, well, I don't know. Whatever.
See,
it's
I
just nice.
I don't know. I'm not social media.
I think the one thing I like about the one thing I like about Twitter versus Facebook is having the 128 character, 148 character, whatever the limit is, right? You have to be on point, concise. There isn't a bunch of fill. It's easy to kind of follow along, right? This person posts and this person posts, this person reacts to it. It's pretty straightforward. With this, and like especially with like Facebook posts like that get political like real quick. Like people just post this big long thing and you're like, I don't want to read all that. Like what? Like tell me.
Read it.
I don't. I'll skim it, but I mean if it's a conversation I'm invested in, then yeah, I'll have to read it. But it's like, half those words are just filth and like you don't need all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever get Twitter. I just
maybe
I'm just too old, and I'm just not into the.
Tonight, I'm not talking to you about getting Twitter. I'm talking to you about getting on Fortnite. So challenge accepted.
Oh, jeez.
It's going to be a new segment, talking Angel into doing different things. Bow chicka bow wow.
Oh my God! Don't even go there.
This is
no. Just go. Move on.
All right, so let's start with South Park. What do you like about it? I got some video stuff for it.
I haven't played it long enough. I need to play more of it.
Well, what are your first impressions?
Okay. The very first thing that annoyed me, much like the last game, you can choose to look like a girl, but they still call you him. Like, you don't get to pick if you're a boy character or a girl character. Mm-hmm. You're just your character, and then there's hairstyles, which are obviously girlish hairstyles. But then when you're in your house, your parents address you as he. That drives me crazy. Yeah. In this day and age, especially character creation, who the hell are you? Almost every game allows you to, unless it's very specific, will allow you to play as a male or a female. Sorry, kid, but my problem is too big for I don't know how much harder it would. I mean, obviously, I'm not a game designer, so I don't know what more goes into it. But if you're already designing the game,
right,
why not just put that in there?
Especially, like you said, especially if you're creating a character. Now, if you're playing as a specific character, then
then that's who that story is around.
But there should be they make it a point to make the difficulty meter very controversial. Yes. Right, easy is white, and
your character is white
skinned, and hard is black, and your character is black skinned.
And it's darker shades,
right, in between. So they go way out of their way to make it controversial. So do you think it's? It can't be a slight against. It can't be a sexism thing, right? I mean, they just leave it out.
I suppose it could be, but
at this point, I don't know. So I think it's a fun game so far. I like you. I probably put maybe 3 hours in it tops. I love the toilet stuff. It's hilarious.
You would love the toilet stuff.
It's just fun. It's just a funny little mini game that they put in here. But that does bring me to my first complaint about the game, and I really don't think it knows what it wants to be. Like, it feels like there's, and I don't remember this from the original game. There's so many different mashups in this game. Like, you have like the exploring and collecting things, and you have the crafting stuff, and then you have the augmenting your character, and you have your weapons and weapon creation, and then you have this detective or inspector mode where you can hold a button
Right.
and then you select things like a point and click adventure.
Well, I feel like that more or less just helps you find, like, versus making everything shiny, which, I mean, things still are shiny.
Right.
I guess, like for instance, the very first thing, you're trying to find people who will let you take selfies so that
Right.
you have an Instagram following.
Right.
Instead of having the camera and everything right above their heads, then you use that. I guess it makes your screen look nicer off the bat, I guess. So you're not walking around with everybody with cameras above their heads. You have to go into this inspection mode in order to see it.
Right. Right.
I don't know. I could just be talking out my butt too, so I don't know.
Wait, so when you go into inspection mode, the camera pops up on them?
Yes.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that. I just walk up to people and the little camera thing icon pops up.
Right. Or you can do inspection mode.
No, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. So, like, overall, I like the combat much more than the original.
I don't remember the combat in the original.
The original, it was you had your characters on one side and the enemies on the other, and you were stationary. You couldn't move. Right, so you selected the character that was fighting, right, and you picked who you wanted to fight, and they did their little attack thing, right. Didn't matter where they were, didn't matter who was in the way. They, walked over and fought that person. Now, as you see here, the combat is grid based, so you have some attacks that are straightforward. You have some attacks that are, effects over time. Some that are area effects.
Some that deal like pushback damage. If you have two characters lined up behind each other, you hit one, that guy moves back and hits the other guy.
Exactly. So, and it's to me it's more strategic and well duh, because it's grid based. But once you get a bigger following, you get more characters to play with, so you can control all three characters. Right now, I've got three characters that I'm fighting around, like I can't remember their names. I got Kyle and Craig, Super Craig, and Hugh and Kite. So it, and the health thing is really cool, where you can Hugh and Kite can heal people and shield people and stuff like that. I really enjoy the combat. I'm hoping that you get more moves along the way, that these aren't just the moveset that you get and you're done.
Well, it sounded like when you were picking your character that you could pick different classes later on too. Like, you can change.
Right, it said something like, these are the three you get to pick from since you're such a low level or something like that, or
since you're new, or
right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think they spent a lot of time on the combat, and it shows. Like, there's a lot of new improvements and stuff like that. And it's just some of the stuff is just hilarious.
I'd really like to delve into it a little further, though. I mean, really, to be able to really.
I feel like this is a
just
game.
Scratching the surface.
I feel like this is a game that you should buy. Like, we're running this from Redbox, and I need to talk about Redbox too for a second. Love their app. I think I've talked about it on the podcast before. But, like, you can open up their app, type in the game you want. It gives you what locations have the game in stock. You can get directions to that game and secure the game and pay for it right there from your phone. So all you got to do is go up to the box, swipe it, and it spits out your game. So you don't spend all this time, like, searching for the game. You don't spend all this time, driving, like, oh, they got a copy of it. You drive there, and it's gone by the time you get there, if you're in a heavily populated area, obviously. But Go Redbox. Fantastic. But again, I think this is a game that you almost have to buy to actually enjoy, because we've had it. We'll have it. I think we're going to keep it for 4 nights. That's going to be $12.
You might as well just buy it.
You might as well just spend the $60 and.
Well, and it's different when you're a college student or young, married, no kids, condo. We could sit and play like 12-hour days into a video game.
Right.
Now, when you have more obligations, and you can maybe only sit down for an hour at night before you crash.
Well, I think. Well, the other thing too is, like, the original game was over 40 hours. I mean, we spent a lot of time on that one.
I felt like it was. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's in there, and I think you can do as much or as little as you want into it. I don't think you necessarily. I moved it so you could see my face on the screen. It was kind of blocking.
Oh.
Whatever. Anyway.
Whatever.
Yeah. again, if you're somebody who can sit down and play a huge chunk of your day, like we used to be able to at one point, that's one thing. But when you just kind of get to chip away at it little by little,
right? And new games come out all the time. Like we haven't put in a lot of time with Destiny too. So
we
like
haven't finished the story in Destiny yet.
Right?
That's sad.
Right, that is very sad. So it's one of those things. It's a great game. I highly recommend it. I don't think unless you can power through 40 hours of gameplay in 4 days. Like, I would seriously buy it. It's a great game. You can't tell the difference. I mean, obviously, you can't tell the difference between the game and the actual cartoon, the show. There's so much as far as the crafting system's concerned, like making antidotes and making weapons and things like that. There's a lot to get into. Taking selfies with everybody, I don't know why that's... I mean, obviously, it's part of the story, but it's just... It's kind of dumb fun. It's to get you out and exploring the world. I like the callbacks to all the different episodes and things like that. They have some really interesting, iconic things that go on. And the same thing with the original. So I like it. I think it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think the only thing I think if they were to do a third one, multiplayer would be really fun, like co-op. That would be fantastic.
It would be hard because it's not so linear. I don't know. It would be hard to try to figure out how you get your group to stay together.
Well, I mean, like, and it could be as simple as like couch co-op, right? Or like online couch co-op where there's one person that plays through their story and you're like their sidekick. Like, you don't make any progress on your story. You just kind of come in and play as a sidekick or whatever. Which kind of sucks for the second player, but they still get to play, right? I think that would be fun. No?
Yeah, it would.
So,
yeah.
All right. So that's South Park. That's a lot of fun. You should buy it. Definitely buy it. Next, I want to try to talk about and convince Angel to play Fortnite. Now, this is a fantastic game that's free to play, right? It's online competitive. You can play 1 versus 100. There's a fly buzzing.
I know, right in front of my face.
Yeah. There's you can play 1 versus 100, right? So everyone's on their own team or whatever. Or you can play with up to groups of 4 versus 100 people on teams of 4. It's a third-person shooter survival survival game. So you have 1 life. There's health, there's shields that you can obtain, different weapons, grenades, traps, and there's also mining, kind of like Minecraft, and you can build structures and stairs and all these other things. Mm-hmm. The interesting part is the actual multiplayer, the battle royale portion of it. There's only 1 map. It's a fairly large map. And you fly in on this like combat bus. So there's a picture of the map right there. You fly in on this bus and you jump out and just kind of skydive down to the ground, and you pull out your parachute or whatever. And, that's where you start. So you can kind of see people jumping out. So like you can be strategic on it and say, okay, I'm going to jump out when there's nobody around, and then kind of make your way towards the crowd and try and clearing out the crowd. Or you can jump out with everybody else and just be like, okay, well, that means everybody's going to be firing at each other. I can kind of pick off people here and there. But obviously it's going to be a little more tense, and there's weapon spawns are random in this game. So you don't spawn with a weapon, you spawn with a pickaxe. So you have to find your first weapon, and there's these treasure chests, like I'm swooping in here on this treasure chest, all over the place that kind of gives you like a bunch of items. So like there's a machine gun with some ammo, and some bandages, and then some like material that you can build things with.
Can you customize your character?
No, you cannot.
I don't like that.
I know, I hate that too. That was my biggest complaint too. I was like, man, I really wish you could customize your character. That would be a lot of fun, but it's all random generated. And you pick up things that people drop like that, and then you can build up a fortress. You can, now the fun part about the game and like the survival aspect of it is when, like right now, just below on my map, you see this little purple icon. It looks like a cloud. It's got 3 minutes left and it's counting down. at that 3-minute mark, a storm eye will appear on your map, and it's in the form of a giant circle, right? And there'll be another countdown timer. I think it's like 1 minute. So once that 1 minute expires, outside is like this giant wall, like they call it the storm or whatever, that just closes in on that circle. And once it hits the circle, it stops, and a new timer starts, and the circle gets smaller inside of this bigger circle. So the battle, this battle arena is constantly getting smaller, pushing everybody in closer and closer to each other, right? So it starts out fairly big, and then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Like the one game I actually
Wait, so it's Hunger Games?
pretty much. So you've exactly. That's a perfect example. That's perfect. It's exactly Hunger Games. It's a lot of fun when when you're playing by yourself. It's not too bad. You can kind of get in the zone and just kind of focus on what you're trying to do or whatever. And you don't. I think it's easier to kind of traverse the world because you're not traveling in this pack of 4 people. There's no radar, right? You just see what you see and that's it. But in multiplayer, it's a lot of fun because you can, it starts out right when you're flying over with the bus, right? You're like, when do we jump out? Where are we headed? All the different sections of the island have there's a grid on it. So there's, kind of like Battleship, A1, B1, C1, A2, all the way down. And you can, go that route. There's a compass that gives you the, the degree location and stuff like that. So you can really be strategic with where you're jumping out. And then on top of that, you've got weapon management, right? Okay, so I've got a machine gun, but I don't have anything close range. Does anybody have a shotgun? Over here's shotgun or pistols or whatever the case may be. But it's interesting to play with friends, and it's interesting to play by yourself. I enjoy both of them. Not to mention it's free. There's a full version of the game for $40 or whatever that you have to you can play the single player portion of it. I think that has more to do with. I've never played it. I think it has more to do with the crafting and the mining and stuff like that, and a single player campaign. But
sorry, when you say crafting and mining, now all is Minecraft.
Well, right, yeah.
I know. Sorry.
So
what happens when you have a 7-year-old?
Right, exactly. Who loves Minecraft? So I think you'll really like it. It's it's a very cooperative experience. I think you should play it. What do you say?
I don't know.
Oh my God. I don't know.
We'll see. It's just another thing to pile on.
But it's real quick. You jump in, you play a game. Once you die, you back out. You don't have to wait for the game to be over, right? It tells you when you die, it tells you how you finish right then and there. Games literally take anywhere from 2 seconds all the way up to 10 minutes. So I don't know. I think it's interesting that the map is the same map, but I didn't realize this until after my second or third game. I was like, oh shit, this is the same map. They don't have multiple maps. You just land in different places. The bus doesn't travel fly over the same direction every time. It's got a couple different routes that it takes. So I don't know. You should totally play it. In fact, I think we're going to play it after we get done playing.
Oh my goodness. We will see.
All right. So we're going to talk about The Walking Dead now. So if you have not watched The Walking Dead, the newest episode, Season 8, season premiere, make sure you tune out right now if you don't want spoilers. So, there's your warning. The Walking Dead season premiere. So, first off, let's talk.
It was the 100th episode.
It was the 100th episode.
It also marks the start of the all-out war segment from the comic series.
Right. So I'm looking over some stats from the premiere or whatever. Looks like the season 8 premiere of the Zombie Apocalypse series snagged 11.4 million total views and 6.5 adults between 18 and 49. So it then says that's 40% down in the demographic and 33% in total audience from season 7 opener on October 23rd, 2016.
That's a huge drop.
Right. Do you remember what happened on the season premiere last season?
And then
that was when we didn't know who Negan, the huge cliffhanger, right? Where everyone
that was pretty controversial.
Very controversial. So
and a lot of people from that point said that they were not wanting to watch anymore.
Right.
So I would like to see. That's comparing premiere to premiere. I would like to see what the ratings were for the finale of last season, and if that's comparable to the premiere of this season. You know what I mean? Because those people who quit the show after the last premiere, obviously it's down. But did they stay gone? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Because I think you're not comparing apples to apples necessarily. Anyhow, so that we don't have a huge lull in talk time.
I'm looking right now.
So we were talking about the
Walking
premiere.
Dead. The premiere.
So
what did you like about it? Let's start there. What did you like about this? What were you looking forward to?
Well, I guess we should maybe take a step back for a second and talk about the finale of last year where things kind of ended. All of last season was pretty much a downer. Again, you were talking about the season premiere last year. It started with the cliffhanger as far as it was the introduction of Negan and his group, the Saviors. We knew that Negan was going to bash somebody. And we found out who that was, and it was two of our characters. Pretty big ones, particularly Glenn, who started with the series, with the first season. And from then on, we kind of see the breaking down of Rick. Sorry. We see his breakdown and how Negan is really wearing him into submission, and it's just a downer of a season. By the end of last season, we finally get Rick back to where we want him. He's finally realizing that he can take no more, and he's ready to rise up against. The season finale was awesome. There were some alliances made. I don't know what you call it. They were calling them the heapsters, I think, the trash people.
The hipsters.
Jay, what's her name? Jada?
I don't know.
Anyway.
She's a pain in the ass, to tell you the truth. I hate that character. I really don't care for the actor or actress either.
Anyway, at any rate, they ended up double crossing Rick's group, but then the King Ezekiel, the Kingdom.
Yeah, the Kingdom.
The Kingdom comes to the rescue there at the end. The tiger comes in and eats some people's faces, which is pretty awesome. And so this season is now starting with the all-out war. Rick's group is gathering with the Hilltop and the Kingdom, and they are ready to go out and take down Negan. I don't know what I expected to see, but I felt good about the premiere. I don't think it was anything shocking.
I was expecting them to take Negan captive.
Did you think they would already that quickly?
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole section of the comic, so I don't expect it to go quickly. I would think it would drag out a little while. I'm not sure. I can look up and find out how many comics that took.
So yeah, I was expecting for them to capture Negan. I did not expect them to kill him. A couple points in the episode was a little questionable as far as like questions, why was something happening? So like when they were shooting out the windows, right? They like basically unloaded their guns into the windows, right?
Of the Seniors Complex.
Of the Saviors Complex, right? But yet, fast forward 20 or rewind 20 minutes, and Negan and his 5 generals walk out onto this balcony with no protection whatsoever, and essentially our group has all of their automatic weapons pointing at them. It's like, okay, those right there are all the bad people in this group, right? They say that if they take down Negan, everyone else will follow, but like, why would you risk that? Like, you know what kind of person. What's the one dude's game with the name with the mustache?
Not Simon.
Simon. Yeah, I think
right?
Simon. You know that he's a douche. You know the one chick on the left that doesn't play a very big role. She's got a filthy mouth and does not have any, anywhere close the alignment that our characters have. And the one dude that was on the far right, I don't even think they name him. I think Rick's like, I don't even know who you are. Like,
Right.
He's like, I'm Jeff. Like, and that was his line. Like, I'm Jeff. Like, awesome. Great. Like, I know. But the only thing is you had, Eugene up there, which, it's like, hey, Eugene, hit the deck. And just, if he dies, he dies.
That's pretty much what he said. He's like, you guys can have the chance to surrender. I mean, he lumped Eugene with them. I mean, I don't think he wants to kill. He wants to kill Negan. That's what he wants to do. He doesn't really care about the rest of them if they're casualties because they're being stupid.
Right. But my thing is, like, you unload all your ammo into the windows, which I don't know. Like, originally I was like, oh, well, maybe, we talked about, like, maybe they're going to throw something through the windows or whatever. Like, what was the point of that?
Well, they led the walkers there. Maybe they thought the walkers would get into the. I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't know. Like, it just, to me, it's like you're in the zombie apocalypse and you just unloaded billions of ammo, like, of shells of ammo and bullets and, like, into windows to do what? Scare the shit out of everybody inside?
Get them to come out.
Get them to come out? I don't. But the thing is, they didn't want to kill everybody. They just wanted to take out Negan. I don't know. They
wouldn't lure an entire group of walkers there just to kill Negan.
I don't think the walkers were meant to kill Negan. I think the walkers were kind of like a contingency plan. Like, if they were to be ambushed and murdered right then and there, to stop Negan and what he's doing, they brought the zombies in to kind of like.
Well, Negan's in a trailer, essentially, is what it looks like.
Right.
Surrounded by zombies, and he doesn't seem scared by it at all.
Yeah, I don't think I see.
Because I mean, it seemed like it at first, but then Father Gabriel,
bless his heart, he is a moron.
And I think what was driving him in that instance, was when we first met him, he was a coward and he locked himself in his church, and all his parishioners were eaten by zombies. Basically, they all perished. So I think he's evolved, and now he sees this opportunity where he's in a car, he can drive away to safety, he can be the coward and watch this guy die, even though the guy is a jerk face.
Right. He's a coward. Let's be honest. He's a coward. He's looking out for.
He's probably a lot like what Gabriel was at the beginning.
And he's basically the same as Eugene. Like, he does what he says what he has to do to survive. He will, get in bed with anybody he has to survive. That's why he fled from Maggie,
right,
and our group, and reported to Negan, like, because he knows that. What? What was that all about?
We have a request to give a peace sign.
Oh.
Anyway, right. So, Gabriel, seeing this situation play out, jumps out of his safe car while there's this massive horde of zombies coming to try to save.
And gunfire taking place.
Right.
They got people shooting at him from the structure.
Right. So to try to save Gregory, who's the, I guess, leader.
Ex-leader of the Hilltop.
Right. They've kind of denounced him, I think. There was kind of a coup. So he jumps out to save him. Gregory sees an opportunity, jumps in the car, and leaves Gabriel
behind.
So Gabriel, this is the end of the episode, pretty much, jumps in the trailer. There's Negan.
I hope you got your shit in pants.
You're right, and he's cool, calm, and collected. Like, I've got my Lucille here. I'm going to bash your brains in. I don't care that I'm surrounded by zombies with no apparent way out.
I think all he's going to do is there's probably an air vent in the top of that trailer. He's probably going to break it out, climb up through, and someone's going to help him off the top of that trailer. I think that's what's going to happen. So I don't know what he's going to do with Gabriel. I don't think he's going to bash his brains in. I think he's going to keep him as
Use
a
him
pawn.
as zombie bait.
See, I don't.
So he can
see,
escape.
See, I don't think that one person is enough for zombie bait for what's going on. I mean, like when Glenn was on the dumpster with Nicholas, one person was enough to kind of that. I mean, you had probably like maybe 24 zombies, but there's hundreds of zombies and they're still coming. So I think he's going to rescue Gabriel and use him as a pawn, or something against which we know how that went with
Eugene.
No, not Eugene. What's the one chick? Not Lucille. Sasha. Yeah, Sasha. That didn't go over very well.
Sasha turned herself into a zombie.
Right. So I've got the U.S. viewership. For the past, so from episode 1 all the way to episode 100. So you wanted to know what the viewership was from which one to which one?
From this past episode to the one previous.
From the season finale of last episode?
Right.
Oh, so there was more viewers this season premiere than there was of the season finale last year.
Okay, so we know that there's been a decline in viewership since season premiere because of.
We're on par.
It
looks like we're on par with season 3.
Right. And that was a huge, which I think it looks like last season premiere had the most viewers ever.
Right, because everyone wanted to figure out who Negan bashed in.
Right.
So I wouldn't. I mean, that was
I don't think it's fair to compare this season premiere with that.
No, there was no cliffhanger at the end of this one.
No.
No, I mean, you saw the lion eat a couple people's faces, but that's about it. I mean, we all knew there was going to be this all-out war between these two armies. So, I don't know. You're right. It's not. I don't think it's fair to compare the two, but it's on par with pretty much all of last season. It only came in, looks like maybe third, fourth place,
right,
if you count episode 1. Which was the highest ranked season or episode out of the whole series.
We'll just have to see how the rest of it plays out, how the rest of the season plays out.
Well, and if you look at this graph, it's interesting because it's got this nice, it's got a bell curve, right? It's real nice, like up and then down. You just don't want
to see it come on a decline, like for good.
Well, right, but I mean, there's got to be highs and lows. It can't be like you can't have the gore factor and the action factor turn to 11 the entire time. Otherwise, you just become disingenuous to the whole thing and just like, I don't care. So
true.
What do you think? Let's see here. What do you think about Maggie? Kind of taking over the hilltop.
I think I don't know what I think. I think she's a good leader. I mean, we've seen her work ways. I think Rick not having her will be hard because she has been more of the diplomatic one. I mean, when they went to Hilltop initially, Rick used her to talk to the governor.
Right.
Or not the governor, but Gregory,
whatever
they're calling him. So I think that does definitely hurt Rick's group, but he said, when this is all over, I'm following you.
Right.
So he sees her value as they're both good leaders and inspire the people who are under them in different ways.
So I don't know exactly where the comics are, but you've got Rick kind of overseeing Alexandria at this point. You've got Maggie at Hilltop. If there were like a third colony, who would
the
you?
Kingdom and King Ezekiel.
Well, no. Like okay. So King Ezekiel, but I'm talking a third colony where one of our party members kind of takes over and leads that group. Who would you put in charge of that group? Which one of our party?
Oh, I don't know. That's a hard one. I think a lot of people would say Daryl, but I don't see him as being a leader.
No, I don't either. I think he's pretty much Rick's right hand man.
Yeah.
I
mean, he's good at what he does, but I don't think he would want to be a leader.
Yeah, he's more of quiet, loner in the background.
Yeah.
Like
He
you see him go off on those lone wolf, missions or whatever.
Yeah, he
Far
doesn't
too
enjoy, he doesn't
frequently.
enjoy the spotlight.
Right. What about I don't think Rosita. Let's go down the list. Rosita, I don't see Rosita. What about Carl?
Well, when he's grown, I would imagine he'd take over Alexandria.
Okay. Who else do we have? We've got, if we ever get Eugene back, no. Eugene.
Gabriel is becoming way.
Gabriel, he's
starting to come into
he's starting to come around that have that really nice character arc, but the problem is with what just happened to him, will that set him back and say like, I don't trust anybody,
or will he just be dead,
or will he or will he just meet the bat? Like
that's usually what happens to the people when they kind of come into their own.
Yeah. So who else do we still have in our party? That's
Well, Michonne, but she's with Rick.
Yeah, I don't see Michonne breaking it off with Rick. Man, there really isn't much.
Carol.
I think Carol would be a good leader. I mean,
she had her little crisis where she wanted to be alone, but I think in the leader seat, she could maybe take a step back and not necessarily do some of the. Although you have to make some of those hard choices as a leader.
But in this past episode, I don't remember who asked her. They were bringing up the conversation like, "I'm glad you're back. Are you ready for this?" And she's like, "Hell yeah, let's do this!" Like all gung ho or whatever.
I don't remember.
I think Carol would be a good leader, if there were to be like this third party. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm just saying it's an interesting conversation. So yeah, overall, excellent episode. I don't care how many people watched or didn't watch it. It's still entertaining to watch. It's classic Walking Dead.
It'll be interesting to see where this goes. It looks like the arc for All Out War, there was 2 volumes. So the volume 1 was comic issues 115 through 120.
Mm-hmm.
And then volume 2 went through issues 121 through 126. So in all, 11 issues around this particular arc.
Oh, okay. So this battle, the battle type, the whole thing.
Right. What they call All Out War, that story arc where our colonies are fighting.
So I'm assuming at the end of that's when they capture Negan.
I don't know. Obviously, I've not read them, but I was just kind of curious. The producers keep saying, "Okay, this is what this story arc is here in the comics. We're starting the All Out War story arc, and that is approximately 11 comic issues. I don't know how many episodes we typically get in a season." But I would think it would be, I don't know if they plan on having this.
All right. So issue 125 is when Negan gets captured by our colony.
Again, these are huge spoilers.
We told them ahead of time.
Right. I mean, we're talking about stuff that hasn't even happened in the series.
Well, at this point, I mean, the two are not, I mean, on the scale of like 1 to 10, like 0 being, or 1 being like identical and 10 being like Game of Thrones,
right.
Like we're somewhere in the middle, right? We're not quite directly with the comics, and we're not so far off that we're...
What do you think about the revelation, and this has been out for a little bit, but that there's going to be a crossover between Fear the Walking Dead and Walking Dead?
I hate it, because now I have to go watch that god-awful show.
I thought you were coming around to liking it.
Right, but I've got to watch the awful part first so I understand who's died. I mean, like, someone at work spoiled it for me and told me which main character dies in Fear the Walking Dead. I was like, oh, well, I would like to see that firsthand because I didn't care for the character.
Yeah, I've seen spoilers too. I've seen maybe the first season and a half, maybe.
So they said what in 2018 So it's either going to be the
end of this season, beginning of next season.
Right. Which I can't believe that it's at the end of. Well, they haven't shot this at the end of this season because they always do like a
the
mid-season finale or mid-season break or whatever. So they probably haven't filmed that yet. So.
Right. So it'll be interesting. There's a lot of speculation. Because Madison is the mom's name, correct?
Yep.
There's been speculation, and they've actually come out and said Madison is from the South. So she could have some relation to Rick and our group there. So she could originally be
maybe
from
their brother
our
or
group's
sister
character. There's been talk about that.
Really? What's Madison's last name?
She was married previously. We don't know her maiden name.
Oh.
So
I don't know if I like that.
Again, that's all speculation. It may not be the case. I don't know if we'll see them coincide in a flashback. I don't know if we'll see them coincide in a flashback or if we're going to see a huge story jump in Fear the Walking Dead, because Fear the Walking Dead took place at the very beginning of the zombie apocalypse. Mm-hmm. Or if we'll see, I don't know where this is taking place. Is this taking place in our Walking Dead series where we're going to have a Fear the Walking Dead character that's
just cross paths?
Progressed, right? So that person will be aged by a few years from where they are in the Fear the Walking Dead storyline.
Right, and the thing is, we don't know. Like they say, crossover, right? They don't necessarily mean like this character is going to interact with Rick and Daryl, and he might just walk by Alexandria or walk by the sign that says "Welcome to Alexandria," and that's the crossover.
I don't know.
Like
it'll be interesting.
I think, I don't want to get my hopes up too big, but like you got to be realistic. Like it could be that. They could be traveling, to the East Coast or whatever, and cross past
from Mexico, and it may take them years to get there from.
Right. Well, in our storyline, the past season's taken place over what, like a few days,
right?
So,
but overall, Judith's what, like 3 or 4? It looks like. So we are 3 or 4 years post-apocalyptic event. Basically ahead of where.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how they tie it together, what the actual crossover is it, and they even alluded to the fact that it might not be in The Walking Dead. The crossover might happen in Fear the Walking Dead, correct?
I don't know,
because they said it could either be in 2018 at the season.
Oh, they did. They
did. Or it could be at the end of 2018 when Fear comes back. Right. So
it could be in the end of this season, it could be in Fear season, or it could be in the beginning of the next.
You know what they're probably going to do? It's probably going to be in Fear. Because they've got, what's the one producer on Fear the Walking Dead that Chris Hardwick always makes fun of his name?
Scott Gimple.
Scott Gimple said that Scott is helping with Fear the Walking Dead.
Yes.
And how are they going to do this?
Well, how are
they going to raise ratings for Fear? That would be a huge boost in ratings to see your characters from Fear.
Fear would have to have a jump. How would our characters get to Fear?
Oh, yeah. Well, so basically, the next season of Fear would have to be sped up
in the future.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we know where our characters are.
Well, there was a time jump in this episode, like a huge time jump, like.
Yeah.
Or so I don't know.
Anyway, that's all speculation.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
But Walking Dead's back. Fantastic. Yay. I'm so excited. Sunday nights are in front of the TV again. I'm so excited. I don't think I've ever been so excited for a TV show to come back.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I can't wait for the spin-offs of Game of Thrones. I hope those are good too. So anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? Let's go play some South Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or we can, yeah. All right, guys.
Edit photos while you play South Park.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. Really do appreciate it. Head over to our YouTube channel again. It's youtube.com/72DPI online. Make sure you get subscribed to the channel. That'll tell you exactly when one of our shows goes post to the channel. You can watch us live every Wednesday. About 8 o'clock ish. That's depending on when Sawyer finally hits the hay, but 8 o'clock ish. That's twitch.tv/72DPI online. Just make sure you subscribe to the channels, leave us a comment. It really helps a lot. We really appreciate it. And make sure you subscribe. Who's going to be that 12th subscriber?
It sounds like you're starting to try to like do subliminal messaging and put like subscribe in every other word.
It is. Subscribe.
Right.
Yeah.
You're going to start flashing it really fast on the screen. It
says
too,
subscribe on the little thing that it's going to be every other word instead
of
the little.
It'll be a flash. You won't even see us, and you won't even know that we're gone. But it'll just like.
It'll be like Fight Club, where you don't remember what they flash in Fight Club every once.
No.
Nuh-uh. Really?
I forgot about that.
You don't remember what they like in the movie?
Tyler isn't it like Tyler is, or what?
It's
okay. That movie's bajillion years old. You can say it. Spoiler.
Fight Club. No! I'm not gonna spoil. I'm surprised you don't know what it is because you're the one that showed me that movie.
No, I know I did at one point, but
so
it tells you that it tells you what it is, right?
Yeah, it tells you in the movie. It tells you. Brad Pitt tells you because it's one of his jobs or whatever that during kids shows he'll splice in like sex scenes from into the actual films or whatever. So all throughout the movie there's these little splices of sex scenes. What's wrong?
There is?
Yeah. I mean it's like a split second. I
don't remember
and it's also got and he's also pasting himself in there too.
Well, I thought there was something else that was like the words that came up that tells you that he is that same guy. But I could be wrong. Oh wow.
So
that's interesting.
So we can just do that. We'll just every once in a while we'll just flash subscribe really fast, like milliseconds. Doug says there's penises in Disney movies too.
Yeah,
we actually have the VHS of the Little Mermaid that has the giant cock on the front. Yeah, that's
And the
isn't there one on Aladdin too? There's got to be. There's way too much.
There's it's like the whisper when he falls off the thing. It says like, "Good girls take off their clothes" or something like that.
Yeah,
it's like a whisper. Like it says it really fast. And then there's like the puff when Simba lays down. I think it says sex, like in the seeds or the grasses. When it billows like dust up.
Yeah, that's the stuff that travels through the wind to Rafiki.
Yeah.
Like that, like animation back in the early '90s. Like nowadays, you would not be able to get away with that. Like that would be caught, torn down, and yeah.
There was something recently in a kids' TV show, like a big scandal that came out.
Really?
I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
How are you gonna say that and not know what it is?
No, it's just like dinging, like this little thing that I read.
Kids movie scandal. I don't know. I just remember the.
And that's totally not writing. I don't know.
Disney
anyway,
movie.
well, that's fine.
Charlie Brown scandal. What? Don't click on that.
I'm not going to. Although it's people.com.
That's what that. Don't click on it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. You use that computer for business.
Okay, listen. Just to finish our show.
Just
come on. We're getting way off track.
All right. Okay, guys. We'll be back next Wednesday. Eli and I will be on Monday, talk about magic cards and stuff like that. I still don't know what we're going to talk about. He gave me three Pokemon cards to start my collection. It was adorable.
It was adorable. Because he already had those cards, so he didn't need them.
Right, exactly. I bought a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch at the store yesterday and noticed that one of them had Pokemon cards inside. I was like, oh, sweet, I'll get this. And
yeah, FYI, so if you're a Pokemon card collector, go buy Cinnamon Toast Crunch because they're exclusive foils.
One of them was exclusive foil.
Right, but there's ones in each pack.
And then Eli looks at it, he's like, oh, this is cool. And then he's like, here, you can have these to start your collection. I'm like, oh, you're sweet, buddy.
I know.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll be back next Wednesday. Have a great evening.
Good night.